All right, let's talk about one of the biggest questions people have when they're buying a home. Do you really need a realtor? I mean, the internet puts pretty much every listing on the planet right at your fingertips, but is that really enough to navigate what's probably one of the biggest purchases of your life all by yourself? It usually all starts with this one very familiar feeling.
Ah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been scrolling for weeks, maybe even months, and then bam, there it is. The perfect kitchen, that backyard you've been dreaming about. It feels so close you can practically smell the fresh paint. And right in that moment, this very logical thought just pops into your head.
And you know what? It is a totally fair question. With all the tools we have now, it can feel like maybe, just maybe, that middleman is optional. This is the big dilemma we're going to break down today so you can figure out what's really the right call for you. Now, before we go any further, look at this number 89%. That's huge. So while you're thinking about maybe going it alone, it's pretty clear that the vast majority of people, we're talking nearly 9 out of 10, they still choose to work with a pro. Now, that doesn't mean it's the only way, but it definitely shows it's the most common path. So let's dig into why.
Okay, first up, let's explore the path for the true do-it-yourselfer. This is for the buyer who wants to be in the driver's seat for the entire ride, making every single call. This is the path of independence. The appeal here is pretty obvious, right? It's all about control. You schedule every single viewing, you make every phone call, and there's absolutely no one else's agenda to worry about. And here's the big one. Since the seller usually pays the buyer's agent's commission, you might be able to negotiate a lower price because you're saving them that money. Some of that could end up right back in your pocket, and who doesn't like that? But, and this is a big but, this path means you're taking on all the risk. Agents have access to something called the Multiple Listing Service, the MLS, and that's where homes often get listed before they ever hit the public websites, so you could be missing out on the best properties. Even more important, you're going to be negotiating directly with the seller's agent, a professional whose entire job is to get the absolute best deal for their client. You miss one little inspection contingency or you don't understand a clause in the contract, that could literally cost you thousands. You're not just buying a house, you're stepping into a legal and financial arena.
Okay, so now let's flip the coin and look at the more common route, the path of guidance. This is where you team up with a professional who's basically your advocate, your navigator through this whole complicated process.
The whole idea here is expertise. A really good realtor is your personal advocate. They know the neighborhood trends inside and out, they can spot an overpriced house from a mile away, and they bring pro-level negotiation skills to the table. And here is the absolute key. Their commission is almost always paid for by the seller. So you get all this expert guidance, and it typically doesn't cost you a dime out of pocket. Of course, there are always trade-offs. You're not flying solo anymore, so the decision-making is shared. This means you have to be super clear in your communication to make sure you and your agent are always on the same page. You'll also have to work around their schedule, because they're likely helping other clients too. It's really an investment of your trust and collaboration. So we've seen the two paths, right? One gives you total control, but comes with some serious risk. The other offers expert guidance, but you've got to collaborate. So the big question is, how do you decide which one is right for you? This chart right here basically makes the choice crystal clear. Just take a second and see which column you identify with more. If you're looking at the left and thinking, yep, that's me, maybe you've bought and sold houses before, you actually enjoy high-stakes negotiating, and you have the time to really dive into market research and legal contracts, then going solo could be a fantastic fit. But if you find yourself nodding along with the column on the right, you're a first-timer, you're looking in a neighborhood you don't know well, or you just want an expert in your corner, then working with an agent is probably the smartest move. So, whether you choose to go it alone or hire a pro, you still need a smart strategy to navigate the market today. So here are a few bonus tips that can give you an edge no matter what. Let's run through these real quick. Number 1, get pre-approved for a mortgage. Seriously, this tells sellers you're not just window shopping, you're ready to go. 2, look beyond the super popular hotspots. Check out emerging neighborhoods where you can get in before prices take off. 3, don't be afraid of a fixer-upper in a great location. You can build instant equity that way. 4, think about buying in the winter. Yeah, it's colder, but there's way less competition, which gives you more power. And finally, number 5, don't get paralyzed by interest rates. Find the right home first. You can almost always refinance to a better rate down the road. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. Buying a home is probably going to be the biggest financial decision of your life. There isn't a single right answer for everyone,
only the answer that's right for you. So after seeing the pros and cons of each path, the only question left to ask yourself is which one truly gives you the most confidence.